Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Tweedy. Today, MK12 actually got officially teased. So this is for real. It's not some earnings call. It's not some, Reddit leak list. It's not some screenshot and 144p. So it actually got teased here. So here's Ed Boon's Twitter. Now, so the way this video starts, it's like just a bunch of people saying thanks. A bunch of people saying thanks. Tyler Lansdowne, we all know him. I wish I knew these other people, but I'm pretty ignorant, See if anyone else I recognize. No, I don't really recognize. I thought I would recognize more people. Oh, there's 16-bit. I feel like I should recognize someone else in here. But oh, there's Dragon. Oh shit, okay. Big D, Big D with the big beard, okay. Shouts to Big D. But anyways, at the end of the video, yeah, Ed Boon came in.
Not quite done yet.
He said, we're not quite done yet. And then, it looks kind of like a salt shaker, the way it's falling out, but I think it's like, it's time, right? Like, it's time crystals. And then we got one more crystal. And it's like, whoa. And then it exploded. So what does that mean? So obviously with the end of MK11 Aftermath, it had, Liu Kang's ending where he went back with the Great Kung Lao, and we just assumed things are going to be better. And then with Shang's ending, he was Big Papa Shang looking like Bowser in front of, what was it, Raiden and Fujin? Or Liu and Raiden, something like that. I probably should have looked before I made this video. And, we just know, it's going to be, Shang's up to no good. He's just going to want to control everything, and get up to some sinister deeds, Or not, Maybe there's some theories out there that Shang's going to make things better. I don't know. I'm not that deep into it. But anyways. So, what I think is that there's going to be, some issue where it's, some power is, neither timeline is right. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And it's going to get us back to, a baseline where it's, the main characters are back. It's not going to be, Liu's universe where it's, all new characters because they're old characters, like Great Kung Lao and, Johnny's great-great-granddad, like Bobby, stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be like Shang Tsung's world where it's, obviously, how would that even work? You know what I mean? Maybe, the old, or the cast that we all know and love gets transported to Shang's timeline and they had to fight him, but that would be kind of weird. It would just be everyone versus themselves type of shit. Nah, that's kind of, I feel like scenarios like that are kind of played out. So I think it's just they're gonna make both timelines irrelevant. You know what I mean? They're gonna make both timelines irrelevant, and it's gonna be some kind of force has stopped the events of MK11 from mattering almost, you know what I mean? Whether it's Kronika back from the dead, which I know we all hope it's not, you know what I mean? Kronika was not that well received, I feel like. She wasn't as poorly received as Cole Young. I don't think any Mortal Kombat character has ever been that poorly received. But if we're talking about the second most poorly received out of all of them, it's probably Kronika, right? A lot of people are man, I wish it was just Geras instead of Kronika. A lot of people are Kronika's lame. We miss when it was Shao as the villain and stuff like that. So I doubt it's Kronika. NRS, they don't communicate, but they usually listen. And I feel like Kronika was not that well received. So I'm wondering, I don't know. It's hard to tell from this trailer, this weird, hint, teaser, that fucking... Also, that's another thing that we need to get into, is in that earnings call, y'all, they said that 2023 was an ambitious release date for Suicide Squad and MK12. Which obviously they've now delayed Suicide Squad to what? April 2024? And that game, I'm going to be honest, I know some of y'all are maybe fans of that game watching, and I love the Arkham games. I love Rocksteady, love the Arkham games, but I watched that last gameplay showcase of Suicide Squad, and I think they should just cancel that game. It looks it looks so awful. It looks horrid. The people who made, the Arkham games what they were, they gotta be retired. They're probably retired, moved on, because that Suicide Squad game looked bleh. Like it looked, oh my god, like it looked abysmal. Now I'm not saying MK12 will look abysmal. Obviously, you know, NRS. I've liked the last 3 NRS games. I don't know about y'all, but you know, I've liked the last 3 NRS games, so I believe they'll do well. But with that said, with them saying that 2023 is an ambitious release date, and the other game getting delayed already, I would assume that MK12 is not ready enough for us to like see it. You know what I mean? And that's why they're showing this little bullshit trailer where it's just like a thing shattering. You know what I mean? So I think that we're not going to see MK12 this year. I think, okay, so I think we'll get the reveal next month in like May, this month now. We'll get it this month during like the PlayStation like showcase or something like that. It doesn't have to be at a game show, because listen, like, I feel like the era of game shows is kind of over. And if you ask yourself what video game company is the most greedy, the obvious answer is Nintendo. Now, what has Nintendo been doing? They've been doing Nintendo Directs. And with Nintendo Directs, look, I'm just some fat guy from Indiana. I don't know nothing about business, nothing like that. But I would have to imagine that if you have your game at a game show, you got to deal with like it being at a live event. You might have to like put some money in for it to be showcased there or something like that. You know what I mean? And the live event itself, it's got to get paid somehow. You know what I mean? Whereas like Nintendo, they just do Nintendo Direct at their fucking, they set a stream up at their office. Every bit of revenue they keep. You know what I mean? Well, obviously like YouTube gets their cut, Twitch gets their cut, but beyond YouTube and Twitch getting their cut, every bit of revenue Nintendo keeps. You know what I mean? So I feel like the era of like the game show is gonna kind of fade, you know? Like we're gonna see the Game Awards probably as a mainstay, but we're seeing like E3 is done. I feel like it's like every like 4 months that we see a real game show instead of like every month or like every 2 months like it used to be. And I feel like that's because it's just more lucrative for these companies to just have it online. They keep everything, you know what I mean? All the revenue of that stream, of those videos, they keep, you know? After the YouTube and Twitch cuts. So I just think that's what we're going to see moving forward. So I feel like we could see MK12 on like a PlayStation showcase. I feel like we could see MK12 on like their own showcase, you know what I mean? So I think if we don't see that like this month, maybe next month, cutting it kind of late, then we're not going to see it in 2023. I feel like we're probably going to get the game revealed at this Game Awards in December. And then we'll probably get the game like middle of next year, I would say. That's my prediction right now. I know it's like people's prediction every year, but I feel like it's a little less cope this time, just because like I feel like NRS doesn't like to show us something and then make us wait that long. But also they're showing us so little. They're showing us so little that it's hard for me to believe the game comes out this year. It's hard for me to believe. So I think a year from now we'll either have the game or like the game's coming out in like a couple weeks. You know, I think April or May of next year. That way it lines right up with like tournament season, you know, and even though NRS and WB are a huge company, I feel like in the past they've liked to line up their release with tournament season since the game is such a big tournament game year one. So yeah, it'll line right up with tournament season. If it comes out March, April, May of next year. And yeah, it'll be great. You know, it's been a long wait since MK11, but I do believe they're switching to a whole new engine. I believe they're going to be either on Unreal 4 or Unreal 5. They've actually, for those who haven't heard me talk about it before, they've actually been on Unreal Engine 3 since before they were even called NRS, since they were Midway Games. So I believe it dates all the way back to like MK vs. DC. They were on Unreal 3, and they're still on Unreal 3 to this day. And if you go back to MK vs. DC, bro, you'll see like assets that are still being reused to this day. You'll see like how the game kind of feels like, you know, you'll like see how it became all these other games. You know what I mean? It's weird like that. But I feel like for this new game, because Unreal 3 is pretty outdated at this point, and NRS does like to keep up graphically, they're like the one fighting game studio that is fine with releasing their game and it not looking 10 years old. You know, like Street Fighter and KOF, those games, like Street Fighter 6 looks like it came out like 6 years ago. Like KOF, the new KOF that came out last year, looks like it came out last decade. You know what I mean? Last 2 decades ago, like 2008, 2007 looking game. You know what I mean? NRS actually, when an NRS game comes out, it likes to look like it could stand up against like single players. You know what I mean? Like it's never gonna look as good as like the newest God of War, the newest Last of Us, but it looks good, man. Like NRS games when they come out, like MKX when it came out looked good. MK11 when it came out looked good. But in order for it to look good compared to 2024 games, 2023 games, they're gonna need to step up to a new engine. You know, Unreal 3 is so outdated. And again, I'm just a fat guy from Indiana. I don't know shit. But if you just look at games and what engines they are, Unreal 3 by 2023, 2024 is really outdated. So I think that's why they've taken 5 years instead of 2. Is number one, new consoles. They're moving to new consoles. I'm sure it's going to be a PS5 thing, especially now that PS5 games are, or PS5 consoles are more readily available. I think it's going to be PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And I think it's going to be on that like mini Xbox 2 probably. And yeah, I think it'll be on like Unreal 4, Unreal 5, and I think it's gonna look insane. Like I think it's gonna be the best looking fighting game for years, maybe until the next NRS game. Because we've seen the new Tekken, which the new Tekken looks fine. It looks about MK11 level graphically, maybe a little bit better. And then Street Fighter 6 looks like it came out in like 2014. But MK12, man, on this new engine that I'm sure they're on, because why else would they be taking this long? It's gonna be the best looking fighting game for years to come. Like it's gonna be amazing looking. Now, as far as the mechanics go and all that, we'll see. You know, that's the fun in it. None of us really know, unless you got like insider info. I don't. People don't really trust me like that, unfortunately. But that's gonna be it, though, y'all. I appreciate everyone watching. My channel's been doing amazing lately. If you made this far in the video and you haven't already, hit me with a subscribe. Maybe hit me with a like and let me know down in the comments what you think. What you think is coming with MK12.